Hi there, everybody. Greetings from my channel again. For a moment, I want you to visualize something. You are no longer pursuing her. After you've recovered your energy, she starts acting strangely. The atmosphere is tense. You sense it. That shift is it. The instant she acknowledges that she has lost you, her tone shifts. Her voice becomes softer. Additionally, you notice doubt in her eyes for the first time. It is at that point when her psyche changes, and I'm going to give you a clear understanding of what's going on inside her head today. However, before we delve further, please press the subscribe button and like this video. More guys are able to perceive the truth they were never supposed to comprehend thanks to it. You see, it takes time for women to lose men. They gradually lose them in the quiet, the distance, and when your former vigor is gone. It takes time for a man's emotional withdrawal to become apparent. She assures herself that she's simply busy. She tells herself that she still has control, but a slight change occurs. When your affirmation quits boosting her ego, panic subtly sets in. She won't show it at first. She will appear aloof, almost disconnected and unaffected. It's a mask, though. Emotional detachment is frequently a defensive tactic in female psychology. She does this to shield herself from the fact that she no longer has control over your attention. She might put something online that she knows you'll see, or make a caustic comment to test you. However, beneath it is fear. Fear that she will no longer be the woman who occupies your thoughts. Her confidence starts to be undermined by that worry. Each text that remains unanswered turns into a query. Has he moved on? Is he in a relationship? Has he lost interest? When it comes to emotional distance, women are quite perceptive. They are able to sense it in your timing, tone, and even silence. It hurts more than just her pride when she realizes she's lost you. Her sense of worth is shaken by it. The secret is right here. A lady experiences remorse in addition to despair when she learns that she lost a man who was emotionally invested in her. Because in the back of her mind, she begins to recall all the times you were there, the times she ignored, and the vitality she assumed. The actual unraveling starts at that point. She begins to relive every moment when she realizes she has lost you, not out of nostalgia, but rather in shock. In order to understand how she went from being wanted to being rejected, her mind is attempting to rewrite history. You'll observe minute changes. She begins to bring up old private jokes. When you are around, she laughs a little louder. She might even send you an innocent-sounding text message with a hidden meaning. She's too proud to ask the question out loud. Are you still considering me? It appears like she is merely reflecting at first glance. In actuality, however, emotional recalibration is taking place. Her brain is attempting to reestablish the emotional connections that used to give her a sense of security when you were around. A woman does more than just miss you when that connection is severed. She misses the person she was when you were paying attention to her. The psychological hook is that she doesn't simply let you go. She loses the persona she developed with your approval. She will therefore exhibit a peculiar spectrum of emotions. One moment, irritation. The next, warmth. It's confusion, not manipulation. She is attempting to maintain equilibrium amid an unpredictable dynamic. She used to rely on you for emotional support. Her ego and her heart begin to clash now that she lacks that grounding. The ego advises against reaching out. Remain resilient. The heart murmurs. However, what if it's already too late? If she's sharing joyful photos or anecdotes with confidence, you might assume she's moved on. Here's the reality, though. A woman who is genuinely happy doesn't act for the camera. She vanishes into tranquilly. She asks for your attention when she is still in pain, not because she has recovered, but rather because she wants you to question whether you made a mistake. She wants you to see her glow. And that's among the most profound defense mechanisms used by women, the art of being emotionally raging on the inside, yet seeming unconcerned. It's stillness encased in pride and agony. But she's secretly observing if you pay attention, observing your reaction. If you care, you're watching. Because her biggest worry when she realizes she's lost you isn't that you won't remember her. It's that after she's out of your story, you'll turn into the man she always desired. That insight is more profound than heartache. It erodes one's identity. Most males are unaware of this section. She begins to doubt herself in unexpected ways after realizing she has lost you. The same woman who appeared self-assured, unwavering, and even a touch contemptuous at one point is now plagued by silent doubts. She will ask herself questions such as, did I act too cold? Have I pushed him away? Why did I assume he would always be there? These ideas don't come to you immediately. They gradually grow in the quiet you left behind. That quiet has great force. It goes beyond simply not saying anything. It is the lack of assurance. You know, males tend to undervalue the importance of constancy in relationships. She is forced to face a mirror that she has avoided for too long when you cease interacting, explaining, and reacting. And accountability is what she perceives in that mirror. In addition to being intensely emotional beings, women are also highly analytical. Her mind begins making connections she had previously overlooked once the emotional tempest subsides. She presents your points in a new way. It immediately makes sense what you stated that she rejected. That's when it dawns on them. She not only lost you, but she also had a part in it. It's a weighty consciousness because many women believe that losing a man's emotional investment is equivalent to losing evidence of their value. It will be delicate enough for you to notice. Pretending it's informal, she will begin to inquire about you from mutual friends. She might respond to something trivial or haphazardly like an old post, anything to restore a connection channel without acknowledging a vulnerability. But there is a single reality hidden beneath that outward behavior. Even though she isn't ready to admit it, she wants to know that you still care. This is where the psychology becomes more complex. A woman's subconscious starts to yearn for what she formerly rejected when she recognizes that she no longer has emotional control over a man. Your stability, your composure, and your focus. Ironic, isn't that right? She is currently pursuing the same vigor that she previously took for granted. Here's the distinction, though. She won't come after you. She will seek the sensation of your desire once more. For this reason, emotional distance from you is so transforming, it's not a penalty. It's a reflection. She is compelled to go through the emotional shift from being the center of the world to an outsider observing, and that emotional distance is where change or remorse starts to develop. When she realizes she has lost you, something extraordinary takes place inside of her. Her emotional barriers begin to give way. The once unreachable woman starts to feel more perceptive about everything. Every little detail, every memory, every time you arrived and she was unaware of it, all of it returns suddenly, but now it is tinged with bitterness from retrospect. Naturally, she doesn't tell anyone. She will continue to act as though everything is fine on the outside, but she is battling an unseen storm on the inside. That storm is more than just melancholy. It's ego collapse. Because losing emotional control over a man they used to dominate feels like losing a piece of who they are to most women. You served as the mirror reflecting her significance. And she is left peering into uncertainty when that reflection vanishes, not because of you, but rather because of the way she handled the devoted, understanding, and fundamentally human aspects of you. her confidence starts to falter. At this point, her actions will start to contradict themselves. She might begin apologizing, inquiring about a pointless matter, messaging you late at night, or even claiming to have run into you by mistake. But listen, it isn't a coincidence. They have strong emotions. She uses it to see if the door is still open without revealing that she is waiting for you to let her back in. Additionally, the weight of her realization falls most heavily on you if you maintain your composure, not frigid, but merely centered. She will start contrasting you with each subsequent male. The level of connection she experienced when you were totally present will never be matched by anyone. Due to the addictive nature of emotional safety, every subsequent fleeting encounter feels meaningless when a woman has experienced the presence of a man who genuinely sees her. She might even make an effort to mimic you by looking for someone who speaks, acts, and looks like you, but it will never work. Because it's not your voice or face that she truly misses. It's the sensation of having your energies and emotions firmly rooted, and for that reason, your absence has greater impact than your presence ever did. Women don't often acknowledge when they've lost a nice man, you see, not to themselves, not to others. You'll know, though. It's evident in the way she hovers for much too long. Messages that appear to be closure but are, actually, confessions. She apologized silently for that, in regret, not in words. She starts to realize something she had never considered before when she realizes she has lost you the distinction between a man's presence and his attentiveness. The cost of attention is low. It is present everywhere. However, your presence was uncommon. Now that it's gone, she begins to understand its true power. Because she doesn't simply have a hole in her life, when a man with emotional depth, purpose, and control eventually distances himself, it leaves a void that her intellect is unable to fill. She may continue to assure her pals that she is all right. She might even pretend to be relieved. On the inside, though, she is comparing every second of her new life to her time spent with you. In actuality, women retain the emotional experience that a male provides them. They recall how you helped them feel understood, wanted, safe, and seen. No amount of diversion, rebound, or social media adulation can completely replace it once it vanishes. Not because they miss the relationship, but rather because they miss the person they were with you. That's why so many women come back months later. However, this is where guys frequently go wrong. They mistake regret for reconciliation as she reaches out once more. Know this very well. She may not always be prepared to love you properly just because she is missing you. It's just guilt sometimes. It's control sometimes. And occasionally, it's true loss. Even so, you don't have to help her come to that realization. Protecting the guy you become after she lost you is your duty. Because she wasn't only shown what life is like without you by your detachment. When you stop pouring into the incorrect person, it reveals who you are. It's that power she feels now. It is the source of her restlessness. A man who is self-assured exudes an aura that women cannot mimic. Emotional stability. Even though she claimed to be done, that is what keeps her coming back. Don't rush to fill the void when she begins to express regret. Avoid pursuing her once more. Allow her to bear the consequences of her creation, because the truth resides in that area, that emotional void. She finally realizes that your absence isn't a form of punishment at that point. It is the inevitable result of taking something sincere for granted. Nothing more deeply upsets a woman than learning that the man she had assumed would stick by her side has finally given up. The narrative changes when she realizes she has lost you, not in her or your favor, but in the interest of truth. At this point, she starts to feel the loss, and her mind ultimately stops resisting it. The facade disappears. The posts with confidence slow down. The smiles appear contrived. She also begins to face the echoes of her past at night when everything is silent. The memories strike the most at that point. It's the little ones, not the big ones. Your voice, how you gazed at her when you were actually there. She felt at ease in your quiet. She feels the loss in her bones, but no one else sees it. Every woman has a realization at some point in her life that it's uncommon to encounter true masculine energy, the kind that is patient, grounded, and emotionally certain. It is earned. It's not common. And once lost, it cannot be replaced. Her heart doesn't simply miss you when she realizes she's lost you because of this. It laments the version of herself that was most vibrant in your presence because you evoked something genuine in her, whether she will acknowledge it or not. And now that she doesn't have that mirror, she can see the aspects of herself that she gave up when she attempted to manipulate, test, or push you away. However, she is no longer the main focus of this story. It concerns you about the man you were as a result of the silence, the separation, and the understanding that your value was only supposed to be acknowledged and never demonstrated. Her passing served as your lesson. Her perplexity turned into your understanding. And that's the tweak that makes all the difference. Because acting as though you don't care isn't the most effective way to be detached. It's about having a great deal of compassion without betraying yourself in the process. Let her listen if she comes back. Don't lose yourself again, though you've changed from the person she used to know. Your tranquility now serves as evidence of your development. Every woman finally respects the man who no longer has to be pursued. If this message resonated with you, please remember to subscribe and like this video, not just to maintain communication, but also to serve as a reminder of this reality.